This is every single book series that I'm in the middle of, except for the ones that I'm only in the middle of them because the next book hasn't been released yet. As I go through these books, definitely check out the ones that you've fully read or the ones that you're interested in and see if you can convince me to either give them a try again or move them up on my TBR. First, we have The Cruel Prince, or I actually don't know what this series is called. I know that there's two more and then a duology that takes place after this, I think. I have access to the rest of the series at any time. I have a friend who has the rest of these books and I just haven't found the energy to go and grab them. I'm reading other books as other books interested me more. I did enjoy the first one. I thought it was fun. You know, it wasn't too deep or anything. And I eventually will read the rest of the series. Like 100% it's going to happen. But I don't know. I think I just need some of y'all to convince me to move this up and read it sooner. It was good. I enjoyed my time. Very, very YA. I heard that this series was the series that like made like the whole Fae thing super popular. Is that true? Do you guys know that? Can anybody confirm? Somebody convince me, dog. Next, we have The Fool's Errand, which is book one in the Tawny Man trilogy of Robin Hobb's Realm of the Elderlings. This is the third series. I just finished Live Ship Traders, and then right before that, I just finished Farseer. The only reason why I haven't started this is that I just want to read some other books first, you know, get my variety in there. I really do want to just binge the entire Realm of the Elderlings, but like there are also other books that I want to read, you know, things that I don't really want to put off, gifts from other people that I do want to read in a timely manner. So as much as I'm really enjoying this series, I think that maybe we should take a small break from it for like a few weeks, maybe. I do think though that when you are away from a series, say like a time jump in an anime or something like that, where the characters come back years later, like if you wait like a week or two before watching the time skip, then it makes it even better. You know what I mean? And I think this is the same thing where if I just wait a little bit, I think it's going to make my reunion with a lot of the characters even more fun. Next is the Dandelion Dynasty. I'm actually reading book 2 right now. I just started it, so I am in the middle of it. I'm definitely going through it slower than I was through Realm of the Elderlings when I was going through that. It just isn't as good, but it's still enjoyable. I'm liking it more. I'm liking the introduction of new characters and then the dynamics of the relationships between the old characters and how that's changed. Book 2 in the series takes place like 15 years or like 10 years or something like that after this one, the first one. So it's pretty crazy seeing all that new stuff. Yeah, I mean, somebody can totally convince me to binge the last 2 books in the series after The Wall of Storms, but after The Wall of Storms I'm gonna read like a different standalone novel and then get back into Realm of the Elderlings maybe, but I'm definitely not planning on going straight into another Dandelion Dynasty book right after I finish the next one. Maybe you guys can convince me to. Maybe there's a good argument out there. I'd be down to hear it. I don't know if this counts because the book after this is technically a prequel that was just released later on. This book took me forever to get through until like the last half. It took me like 2-3 weeks to get through the first half, then I binged the rest of it because it got really good later on. I know Christopher Buehlman's a crazy author. I want to read Between Two Fires. That shit looks dope, especially the cover that I've seen with the like skeleton mask or something like that. I don't know. The guy in the cover's got aura. Yeah, the prequel book of this. If anybody's read it, let me know. It'll probably be a while until I touch that. But, you know, if somebody thinks it's like super amazing, let me know in the comments and maybe I'll read it soon. Half the reason why I remember picking this up is because the cover I think is like super sick. D&D vibes, rogue. It was really good. All right, the next book I have here is The Will of the Many, but I'm not actually talking about The Will of the Many. I'm just using this as a placeholder to talk about Lycanius. I read book 1 in the Lycanius trilogy and I thought the characters were just super mid. It was very clear to me that the external plot was very complex and complicated and very well thought out, but the characters really felt like white bread. They felt like they had no soul to them whatsoever. Right now, I wouldn't say I have plans on completing that series, but if somebody here can convince me to continue on with Lycanius and convince me that the characters get more interesting, then I'd be down. I always see people raving about how much they love it, but I can never really like relate super hard to that. So yeah, somebody convince me. Where I am right now, I'm not sure if I'm gonna give that one another shot. The next book is Sky's End. I actually don't know the series. I think the series is called, is it Above the Black or is Above the Black the name of the next book? No, the series is called Above the Black. Yeah, I mean, the second one just came out. Haven't picked it up yet. I think it's just because I haven't been really into buying brand new books since like Wind and Truth. I've been more into thrifting books at like half price or local bookstores that are like super cheap and stuff like that. But that's probably why I haven't picked it up yet. I remember being really good. I remember really enjoying it. The trilogy is incomplete. The third one hasn't released, but the second one just came out. If anybody here has read the second one, let me know your thoughts. I actually haven't heard anything about it. Actually really do want to hear what you guys have to say. Spoiler free, of course, and maybe that'll influence me to break my not really that big of a buying books type of guy rule, and maybe I'll go do it. The next series I'm in the middle of is Legendborn. I've only read book 1 and I really liked book 1. I really enjoyed Bree's character development. I loved reading about her dealing with her grief and quote unquote overcoming it, but more just like accepting it and stuff like that, not really running away from it. If you guys don't know, she lost her mom and I lost my mom, so like I really do relate to a lot of things in this book. The magic system was really cool. I really enjoyed that, mostly when we got to learn about it more from the African Americans perspective, not really from like the Arthurian white person perspective. That's when my attention was caught. But yeah, I mean, I just finished this in December, I think. I just recently picked up Bloodmarked at Half Price Books, hardcover and everything. You know, they don't really match, but you know, if I really like it, I'll get a hardcover of this one, I guess. I don't know. And I know Oathbound just came out. I can't remember if Oathbound is a trilogy or not. You guys know, is Oathbound the last book in this series, or is it going to be like a quartet? Somebody let me know. But yeah, I mean, this will probably be like, I don't know, a month, 2 months before I get to this, maybe. I'm going to be reading The Realm of the Elderlings, and I'm trying to disperse other things in between that, in between series. So let me know if this should be one of the ones that I put in there. I actually don't know much about this book. I haven't seen much about it, but if you have read it and you have liked it, let me know. Convince me in the comments. The next book is the Suneater series. I've only read book 1, Empire of Silence, and then I've read the first novella, The Lesser Devil, which takes place between Empire of Silence and Howling Dark. I mean, the first book was okay. I think I was bored through a lot of it, but I did find myself slowly growing more attached to Hadrian, although I think my attachment to him was slower coming than other character-focused series books, like for example Farseer. I feel like I grew attached to Fitz really quickly, maybe just because we're introduced to him as like a kid, and he's still a kid through most of the first book, through all of the first book. So maybe it's a lot easier to be attached, emotionally attached when you see like a child getting hurt and shit like that. I don't know. But Hadrian, I definitely did find myself attached to him at the end of the book, and I did really enjoy my experience at the end. It was a kind of a slog though through most of it. And then the Lesser Devil follows his brother Crispin, and I think Crispin is fantastic. I love Crispin so much. I genuinely hope to see him again. Right now, Crispin, I think, is my favorite character. He's just my goat. You know, I hope that if we see him again, he isn't a total dick. The only reason why I'm not continuing on with this series right now is just because I'm waiting for it to be ready at the library, and these books are popular, so they're taking freaking forever. The next book series, I guess I'm technically in the middle of, it's the trilogy of standalones that comes after the first Law trilogy. And what is this universe called by Joe Abercrombie? Do you guys know? But I'm in the middle of his universe. I finished Best Served Cold in October, and I'm trying to finish these standalones, and then I'm gonna go into, what is it, Age of Madness or something like that, this trilogy that's after this trilogy of standalones. It's not really a trilogy, they're all standalones, but I'm trying to read the 3 standalones first before I get into the next trilogy, I think, which takes place years later after the Blade itself. I actually just picked this up. Look at this UK edition. It looks so good. Half Price Books. No way. I can't believe I saw it. I gasped when I saw it. The energy to read through these standalones before I get to that trilogy is just very low, but somebody convinced me that this is banger, that the Heroes is banger. I need it because I definitely want to get to that next series by Joe Abercrombie. The first book in the first Law trilogy was a total slog for me, but books 2 and 3 I just pounded through. Speed Demon. Oh god, I'm running out of room over here. The next series I'm in the middle of is the Locked Tomb series. Right now, this is my favorite series of all time. I finished Gideon the Ninth and Harold the Ninth, and I have Nona the Ninth right here that I need to read. I would show Gideon the Ninth, but I actually lent it out to a friend, so I can't. Thrifted this shit at half price? No freaking way. I know what you're thinking. How is this your favorite series and you haven't completed the last one? And it's because I don't want to catch up. You know what I mean? I feel like when I catch up to this series, I'm going to be so empty on the inside. I'm going to feel so sad, but it'll probably happen. I think this book will be read by the end of summer for sure. Maybe you guys could convince me to read this like this month. I could easily be convinced into that. I'm barely hanging on, barely holding myself back. Necromancers. I wouldn't even say there's like lesbian romances, like actual romances, just the characters just happen to like all be lesbian. Mind frickery, guys. This shit will make your head explode. This shit's insane every single time so far, and I assume it's gonna be the exact same with this book. The other 2 books, you're reading it and the entire time you're like, I'm so confused, what is happening? Then you get to the end, you're like, oh my god, I understand now. I understand why everything was happening, which I think makes this entire series goated on a reread. So, I mean, that'll be fire when that happens. The reread will probably happen in preparation for book 4 when that comes out. Do I have room? Oh my god. There's no way I'm fitting this last book in there. No way. And then finally, the Broken Earth trilogy. I've actually read the 5th season. I have the next 2 books back there on my shelf, but I read this book over 2 years ago. It was like winter 2022 going into January 2023. And so it's been a long time. And I audiobooked the whole thing. And so I've forgotten almost everything about it. So I've just been putting off going into books 2 and 3. So I really need to reread this one so I can read the next 2. Somebody convince me. I don't know when I'm going to do this. I have them here and I have no idea when I'm going to do it. Thank you so so much for watching. I appreciate it. Like I've said multiple times throughout this video, definitely convince me if you want me to give something a chance, or you want me to move something else higher up on my TBR and read it sooner rather than later. I really appreciate it. Check out my wish list, my sponsor, and follow my socials down below. And I'll see you guys next time.